So when things are not feeling so perfect for you in your life, it's very easy to have all sorts of capacities to distract yourself from feeling poorly, whether it's in your body or in your mind or in your heart. And we have all these strategies, right? We have addictions, we have distractions, we have busyness, we have a million different ways where we can turn away from the things that we're trying to avoid that are painful to us. And it brings me back to the kleshas. All, spiritual traditions have something to say about this. And in yoga, there's the idea of the kleshas. And in the kleshas, so these are the causes of our suffering, the roots of our suffering. And two of them are grabbing on to what we want, the sense of attraction to what we want and wanting to hold on to that, and then averting from what we don't want. And a lot of times, I mean, this can show up in a million different ways in your life. But in regard to being able to sit and be present for whatever emotional state or physical state is arising moment by moment, this is working with the kleshas. This is detaching from having a desired outcome, detaching from expectations, but also not pushing away from things that are painful and difficult. And I think if you can process things when they're happening, then we don't have this little storage depot somewhere in our body and somewhere in our heart where we've put things that you'll deal with at a later time, right? And then 50 years go by and you still haven't dealt with that thing, right? So we can do ourselves a big service by just cultivating the capacity to be present for whatever is coming, and to be steady through whatever is coming. So our asana practice, our meditation practice, our breathing practices are all tools to help us be present for what is, to invite into the door whatever is coming, whether it's anger or frustration or joy or something physical that feels amazing in your body or something physical that feels terrible in your body, whether it's heartache, whether it's confusion. It doesn't matter what it is. If you can just invite and learn how to be sit with what is, it's a true gift. So how do we do this? Like, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, that's what I have to do, but then how do you do it, right? How do you make that choice instead of choosing a distraction? How do you make the choice instead of choosing an addiction or any other ways that we can kind of take ourselves away? So in our breath, we have this beautiful capacity that's free and available in every moment to just work with staying with the breath. And if something's very difficult, learning how to just watch and observe and be present with the breath is probably our greatest tool for being present. And then the other thing is naming things in your body. When you feel anxious, for instance, what are the physical sensations that go along with that? Of course it's a mind state, but it's also a body state. So if we can kind of claim the body sensations, name them, be present for them, be curious about them, sometimes our ground in our body can be a very sturdy place for the heart and mind to rest. And so just being curious about the physical sensations that come out along with mental states can be very helpful as well. So of course our asana practice serves us in this way. So let's practice. Let's put a deposit in the bank, so that the next time you need to hold yourself steady and let the winds move through you, let the hurricanes move through you, you have ground. Okay. So let's sit up straight and tall and take a moment to drop in to the presence of this moment. There's there's many other, well, there's not many, but there's three other kleshas. There's five kleshas total. But these two are kind of a crux of a lot of suffering. This wanting to hold what we want and wanting to push away what we don't want. So let's work with this today. So drop down into the pelvic bowl. Feel the roots of your sit bones and bring yourself into that state of presence. Start discovering how your breathing feels right now. And can you take a little daily temperature reading, a little body weather reading? What's the weather in your mind? What's the weather in your heart? What's the weather in your body today? So just take a moment to be curious about that, so to observe what's arising in this breath. Melt through your eyes, melt through your jaw, melt the very base of your skull. Soften your shoulders. Align your crown over your tail. Feel the heart space open just a bit. So keep obsessing, keep noticing, being curious, breath by breath, what shifts, what doesn't shift, what's here. Unlock your diaphragm. This is a key area for many people when we are in that desiring state of wanting what we want and wanting to avoid what we don't want. A lot of times our diaphragm will grip in response to avoidance or aversion. So open the gates of your diaphragm and let there be freedom. And then just notice, is there an emotional state or a mental state or a physical state that is challenging to you right now that you're working with? See if you can invite whatever this is in to stay for a little while. Invite them as a guest into your mind, into your body, into your breath. Make lots of room. And just know that things will flow. So bring your hands to your heart and offer an intention for your practice to be present for what is, for these states, instead of wishing for something or avoiding something. All right, let's release the hands and come down onto your back. So sometimes it can be scary to invite in something that you're trying to avoid. Usually there's good reason we're trying to avoid something, it's painful. So have the courage to know that truly, when we invite what we're trying to avoid in, this is how we move it through us. This is how we actually get it to dissolve instead of hang on. All right, so where's this state that you're kind of working with in your practice? Where is it landing in your body? So as you lie down, you can bend your knees, you can straighten your knees, your arms can be out or close. And just pause here for a moment, breathe, and just get to know, where is this, whatever I'm working with, landing in my body? How is it landing in my body? How has it been landing in my breath? And how is it landing right now? All right, so let's start to move. Stretch. Keep feeling, keep sensing how things are landing in your body. And let's move the right side, move the left side. Let's start to awaken the hips and open things up. Breathing well. And then bring your knees into your chest and rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. All right, let the rocking be a little cue to your nervous system that all is well, that you can come online with your parasympathetic drive, that you don't have to be in fight or flight. Okay, all right, and then let's circle the knees a few directions, a few in one direction and then a few in the other direction. Just kind of feel into the low back, the sacrum, sense what's here. All right, and then open your knees away from each other and bring them back in toward each other. Just feeling the range of motion that's available today in your hip joints. All right, and then stretch open your body like a big old star. Reach into your fingers and toes. Stay out there. Wiggle your ankles. Roll your wrists. Feel into the fingers and the toes. Okay, find your breathing. All right, and then bring your knees into your chest. This time, pick your head up. Give a good squeeze. And then let's move with our breath. Inhale to expand your limbs wide. Exhale to draw your head in, knees in. Okay, find the breath. Open yourself up. Exhale, close yourself up. One more time. Be inside. What's here right now? And then release your head down and roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, so find that sense of moving through some cat-cows. Okay. Opening up the rib cage, breathing well. Rounding the spine and arching the spine. Feeling the full range of motion from your crown to your tail. And then feel free to move this pose around. So move your hips around, move your shoulders around. Breathe into your body as best as you can. All right, and then let's find our way back to child's pose. For many people with, SI joint or low back issues, having a good strong anterior tilt on the way back there to child's pose is really helpful for releasing your lumbar spine. Stretch your arms out in front of you, open things up, stretch your shoulders to a place of comfort, and then flip open your palms toward the sky and just feel that rotation in the shoulder joints for a moment. And place the palms back down. Walk the hands over to the left side of the mat. Drop weight into the sit bones. Relax the base of the skull. Okay. Come the other way. Lengthen through your side. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Relax the base of your skull. Melt your head. And then come back to center. Onto all fours again. Move your spine. Okay. Wag your tail. Now pick up your feet and move your feet to and fro, left and right. And just loosen up the low back a little bit here. All right, and then relax. Inhale, arm up to the sky. Exhale, whatever arm that is, slide it through. Drop your shoulder down. Breathe into the back of the heart. Shoulders away from the ears. Relax your neck. And then slide your torso toward the floor a little bit. Keep your arm there. You can slide it out a little bit, but just stretch the back side of your shoulder a bit. Drop weight into the sit bones. So our chest is facing the floor now instead of turning. The arm can move back a little bit, so we're really opening up the back side of the shoulder. And then release that. Take a breath. Lift that arm all the way back up and place the hand down onto the ground. Second side, arm comes to the sky and then slide the arm underneath you. Thread the needle underneath there. Release your head down, gaze toward the floor. Feel the twist in the spine. Feel the broadness across the shoulder blades, in between the shoulder blades. Have your breath. Relax your head. And then as you're ready, turn the torso toward the floor a little bit more. You can drop back towards child's pose a little bit more. The arm is still underneath you. Just dole this out just the right amount for your shoulder. Stretching the back side of the shoulder capsule here. Relax your neck. All right, and then release that. Lift the arm all the way to the sky. Place the hand down onto the ground and find dog pose. Have the hands broad, lengthen through your spine, lift up through the pelvis. Let it reach, the pelvis reaches away from the heart, the pelvis reaches away from the feet. There's this sense of yielding into the earth and then rebounding upward. Pedal out your feet if you want. Feel into the Achilles tendons. See what it feels like to bend one knee at a time as you drop the other heel. Open the bottom of your feet. Maybe you want to bounce a little bit or sway. Maybe you want to move your hips. Maybe you want to move your head. So just allow yourself to come home in your body. Feel around. Get comfortable with sensation. And find some stillness here. Breathe well. Melt the neck. And then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Bend your knees. Feel free to bobble your head around, wag your tail, shake out your shoulders, whatever feels nice. Halfway lift, stretch your sit bones high and wide. Spread out the bones of your feet. Feel the grounding of the bones of your feet and rise up through the shins, through the thighs, up into the hips. Relax your neck while you're here. And then exhale and fold. Push off your feet, drop your hips down, rise up, bringing the arms to the sky. If you're dizzy, hopefully you know what to do by now, but if you ever get dizzy, you can cross your thighs, you can squeeze to the midline with your hands, you can tuck your chin. Hugging to the midline will help raise your blood pressure. Find the extension. When you're ready, open up the shoulders, cactus, open the chest, take the shoulder blades toward each other and then away from each other. Forearms come to touch, chin down. Twice more, open the chest, cactus your arms, bent elbows, and then exhale, round the spine, chin to chest. One more time, feel the shoulder blades and how mobile they are on the back, and then exhale to come in. Interlace your fingers. Stretch your palms straight up in the air. Open up your hands and then reach through one side. Lengthen through, it doesn't matter which side. I didn't say which side, so just go one way. Ground through both feet. Feel your roots. Come on up. Interlace your hands the other way and then come over to the other side. Feeling the side body awaken and open. Okay, come back to center. Release your hands down and shake out your arms. Okay, shake your hands. Give them a good wake up. Okay, and then shrug your shoulders up. Give a squeeze. And then relax. All right, now squeeze your arms. Bend your elbows. Squeeze your biceps. Squeeze your shoulders up. And then relax. Shake things out again. All right, interlace your hands behind your back, open across your collarbones, shoulder blades move toward each other, bend your knees a lot, and then lift your arms wherever they go away from your spine. Relax your head, let there be space in the base of your skull. Open up the front of your deltoids, relax your neck, and then release the arms down. Grab onto the elbows, the knees are bent as much as you need them to be. Relax your neck, find your breath. And then inhale, halfway lift. You can use blocks if you want under your hands. Exhale and melt back down. Let's step the left foot back. The right foot comes forward into a lunge. Extending through the spine here, opening up the body. Let's start moving. So straighten the front leg, tuck the chin toward the chest. And then bend the front knee and lift the heart forward. Find your breath pattern through this. Let it be grounding in your body to feel into all the parts that are awakening. Release expectations of where we're going. Just be here now. All right, walk your back foot in some. You can always bring the blocks high if you want. Just pause, let your head bow, square up the hips, open up the hamstring of that back leg. And then take your foot back into a lunge again. If you brought it forward, bend your knee, find your feet, ground yourself, and then rise up to crescent lunge. When we come into this, first of the standing poses, where is your breath served by your arms? So if you bring your arms up in the traditional posture, do your ribs push forward? Can you integrate? How do you keep room for breath? So try not to sacrifice the breath for any bit of your posture. Drop into your feet. All right, and then release the hands. Bring your back foot forward and fold. Relax your neck. Halfway lift. Spine gets long and spacious. Exhale and bend again. Other foot back. Left foot is now forward. Right foot is back, lunging. Ground through your feet. Find your breath. And start to move. You can straighten your front leg and bend your front knee. So we're just going back and forth. And don't worry if you don't go anywhere near straight. That's okay. Just move to your range of motion. Keep the hips square so that front hip needs to stay back. How's your breath? All right, and then walk your back foot in some. Square up the hips. Lengthen through your spine. Legs are straight. Ground into the floor with your feet. Just allow the outer hip to stretch a little bit. Keep reaching that right hip back or the left hip back. And then we're going to come back to a lunge. Bring that right foot back a little further. And when you're ready, rise up. So, my shoulder doesn't always like to be up in the air. My arm to be up in the air. My shoulder doesn't always like that. So you can, if that happens to you, if you have an issue with an injury or something, find different pathways, different vectors of movement that support your breath primarily, but then support your joint health. So, if you know something doesn't feel so good, try a different way. Breathing deeply. All right, release the hands down. Back to dog pose. Extend through the spine. Full breaths in, full breaths out. All right, and then come forward into a plank. You can always put your knees down if your body needs more support for this posture. Hold steady, breathe steady. Hug your hands toward each other, root into the index finger mounds. Let the inner thighs lift up toward the sky. All right, and then you can put your knees down if you want to come find the floor, or you can just lower your body down. Okay, bring your hands a little closer to your nipple line. Inhale, rise up, cobra pose. Try not to overdo the lumbar spine. See what it feels like to stretch the legs, to have integrity in your core and pelvis, to rise up only where that strength can support in your core. So you're not, we don't want to do this where our elbows are up toward our ears and our shoulders are up toward our ears and our elbows are locked out. Stay bent in your elbows and shoulders back. Melt back down. Pick up your feet and bring your hands underneath your forehead. Rest your head and windshield wiper your knees left and right. Finding your breathing. All right, come back up onto all fours. Breathing well. Swirl around the spine.
Find dog pose when you're ready. Full breaths. Lift the right leg up in the air and stack open that hip. Try not to collapse through the left side. Lift under the armpit. Full breaths here. All right, and then square up the hips again. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, bring your foot forward. So maybe you come down onto your knees first, transition into a lunge, however is best for your body. Okay. Find your breath, drop your back heel down onto the ground, and rise up into Virabhadrasana, one leg. Reach your arms back, palms are facing forward. Take the shoulder blades toward each other just a little bit. Not enough where we're popping our front ribs out, but integrate, okay? Drop weight into that back heel and lengthen through your crown. Find your breath. And as you're ready, you can lift the arms in the air. Extend through the spine. Full breaths here. And then when you're ready, we're going to turn this open into Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So go from Warrior 1 to Warrior 2. When we open up, you can let that back hip turn as much as you need to toward the front knee. Your front knee can be bent just a little bit. Your front knee can be bent a lot of bit or anywhere in between. Okay. Notice, especially if you bend deeply, do you push this hip forward? Do you kind of lean into the back of your body at all? See if you can keep the thigh bone moving back. Better to be out of the lunge a little bit more and then take that thigh bone back so that there's ease across your pelvis. Put your arms anywhere you want. If your shoulders don't like out to the sides, try everybody try this. See what it feels like. Drop your elbows down, palms are facing up, and then open up your hands out to the side. Feel the work in the back side of your shoulder blades, the openness across the chest without having your arms have to be, the ones to have to open your chest. Let your chest be the one to open your chest. Drop into the feet. Open your breathing. What's coming in to stay for a while? Can you open the gateways of your diaphragm? Let the breath in. All right, and then straighten your leg. Let's find triangle pose. So you can bring your hand onto a block if your body likes a block for triangle pose. If you want to have your hand on your hip, you can do that. If you want to have your hand in the air, you can do that. You can forget the block and just put your hand on your leg. Find the grounding of both feet. So maybe, move into one foot, move into the other foot. Find both feet. Open across your chest. Try not to hide from anything. Try not to hide from any piece of the posture. All right, come back up. Straighten your leg for a moment, upright, and then bend your knee and come down. Elbow on your knee or hand on block. Same thing. Your other hand, your left hand can be on your hip. Your left hand can be out in the air. Your left hand can swing over your head, whatever feels nice. Allow the back leg femur bone. Try not to push it forward. Take it back. Soften that knee. You can even have a little micro bend in that back knee, so that you're not locking out joints. When you micro bend that knee, yield into the earth and then push off to lengthen through your spine. Relax the neck, soften the shoulders away from the ears. All right, and then let's rise up. Now just feel for a minute. Turn your feet to the long edge of your mat. Pause here for a moment. Feel into the body. Relax the shoulders. And then come to stand on your mat, face front again. Palms down. Shake out your wrists. Find Tadasana. Just notice we've done these standing poses on one side, not the other. What's different? What's not, finding symmetry just yet. See if you can find that symmetry. All right. Rise up. Bring your arms to the sky. Exhale and step your left foot forward and your right foot back. We're coming into Virabhadrasana 1 on this side. So ground your back heel. The heel is rooting. You can have your feet wider apart if you need them to be. You don't have to worry about your hip turning all the way. It's moving in that direction, but it's not like crescent lunge when you pick your foot up and your hips can square. Find what's available here. So, I'm recovering from a broken foot, so I can't go deeply in this right now. It's too much on my back foot. So just find your way. What's available in your body today? Maybe you want to have your arms up. Maybe you want to start like we did the other side with our arms down, palms out. Integrate the rib cage. Can you have an open heart supported by shoulder blades without pushing your ribs forward? Open the gateways of your diaphragm. Surrender. And then rise up, bringing the arms to the sky if that feels nice for your body. And then we're going to turn and open up to the side of the mat. Okay, so find Virabhadrasana 2 on this side, left foot forward, right foot back. And come into whatever place. I'm not going to go very deeply in this posture, but maybe you will go very deeply today. See where your body is comfortable. How are you self-supporting? So if we want our body to be this ground, this ballast, this stout support so that we can be present for the emotional states, we need to find the eye of the storm. We need to have that grounding. So let the standing poses teach you a little bit about staying firm to the earth, feeling the yielding, giving yourself the will to be stable. Okay? Where are your arms best served today? How is your breath? Can you feel both legs? Remember to open up that back knee a little bit, soften it just a smidge so you're not locked out and pushing the knee back and pushing the hip forward. Soften those joints. All right, and then straighten your leg. Come into triangle pose when you are ready. Okay, and if you need some more height, like I do today, I'm going to have 2 blocks just to be less deep in my postures to support my foot. Okay, so how are you adjusting to support what's happening in your body? When you took that, body weather reading, is there something that needs extra support in your body? And how are you doing with that? Are you ignoring it? Are you just whizzing right by it? See what you can do to invite whatever you're working with in. Invite what you're working with in. Find a way to make room for what is. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Just see what you can do to support, to be that ground. All right, and then come back up. We're going to come into Parsvakonasana. So, you can have, I'm going to take 2 blocks, but you can have 1 block. You can have it in front of your shin or behind. You can have your elbow on your knee. So see what's available for your posture today. Adjust anything that needs a different vector of movement. Try to soften the knees so you're not locking things out. See if you can reach into the back foot and rebound through your crown. Decide where you want your arm to be. Finding your breath. Soften the shoulders. Where are you not present in your body right now? Fill yourself. Color all the way to the edges. All right, and let's come back up. Turn back to the front of your mat. Bring your hands down. Walk your feet back. Lift the left leg up in the air and stack open that left leg, open through the hip. Enjoy the space. Maybe your knee is bent.
Maybe your leg is straight. And then come back, place 2 feet down onto the ground, bend your knees, lengthen through your spine, and then push forward to a plank. Find that sense of stability. Hold through your core, inner thighs lifting, crown stretches to heels, heels stretch to crown. Put your knees down to support yourself on your way down to the floor if you need it. Arms are back behind you, palms are facing the floor. Lift the shoulders away from the ground, support with your core. Inhale and lift your arms and legs up, support with your core. Keep the neck long. What part of your back body is absent? Bring all of your back body online. All right, and then release and relax. Let's roll over onto our right side. Okay, you can support your arm underneath your head. Okay, bend both your knees close, not close to your chest, but just bend them so your hips are bent. And then grab onto your top ankle. So your left ankle, grab onto it with your hand and then stretch that knee away. So try not to let your knee come up toward the sky. Keep the knee in line with the hip. Move your tailbone toward the back edge of your mat or toward your foot that's on the ground. Okay. Lift your pubic bone toward the belly button. Try to find the stretch in your quadriceps. Spread it out so it's all your quads. Relax your head. And then release. Bring yourself back onto your back, knees to chest. Rock a little bit. And then let's just sway right over to the left side. Same pose. Support your head. Grab onto your right foot with your right hand and stretch that knee away. If you can't reach, you can always do this with a strap around your ankle if you need it. Okay. So just find your way. Tailbone stretching toward the knees. Pubic bone lifting toward the belly button. Open across your chest. Try not to roll your shoulder. See if you can stay open. All right, and then relax. Come back onto your back, knees into your chest. Rock a little bit, sway from side to side. Grab a block. We're going to put the block underneath our pelvis on the low height. So even if you do bridge pose with the higher height, for right now, put the block on the low height and just have a couple breaths before we're going to straighten our legs. But first, feet flat on the ground and just get into the feeling of your pelvis here. Flip your palms open, rock onto the tops of your shoulders so your chest is broad. Be comfortable. And then decide, check in with your back. How's your back today? How are your hips today? How are your SI joints today? So we can either stretch both legs straight on the floor, okay, and turn this into, a low body back bend, opening up the hip flexors. Perhaps you want to have one foot flat on the ground and one foot straight. Perhaps you feel like this isn't enough if your legs are straight, in which case straighten one leg on the ground and you can bring the opposite knee up toward your chest instead of just down on the floor. So there's lots of ways to make this pose deeper. I mean, really, if you want to go super deep, you can tuck one foot under like Virasana. I wouldn't do this with the block, actually. Never mind. Don't do that with the block underneath your pelvis. All right, so find your way. Breathe deeply. What do you want to do with your arms? Open up your body. See what it might feel like to have your arms over your head. If you're doing one leg at a time, make sure you switch. Open up the low belly, the hip flexors. Breathe deeply. Open up the rib cage. And then 2 feet down onto the ground and then bring your knees up. A little bit of traction. You don't have to have your knees all the way to your chest, but just rest with your knees bent, your hips bent. your hips flexed so that you have some softness in your low back. Bring your legs straight up in the air for a moment. Feel into the weight of your femur bones dropping into that block. Breathe well. Okay, and then feet coming back in. Place your feet down onto the ground. Lift up, get that block out of there, lay down on your back. Take your feet wider than your hips a little bit and just windshield wiper your knees left and right. Full breaths here. Okay, now there's danger in being on the ground for this long, so we're not ready for Shavasana. So let's roll over onto our side and come on up. Now you can just come up to stand. Perhaps you want to move through dog pose first. Do whatever feels good for your body. We'll all just meet up here standing. Okay, so notice what happened when you're like, oh yay, we're down on the ground and now we have to get back up. So there's a part of our nervous system that just dissolves a little bit into relaxation when we're down on the ground. So bring your attention, your energy back up. All right, so first just rock forward onto your toes and back onto your heels. Just get your balance on. Okay, get your feet balanced. All right, and then we're going to drop weight into our right foot. We're going to pick up our left foot. Now, it's okay to have your knee out to the side when you grab your foot, but then bring it back down. And if you can't, wrap a strap around your foot. Inhale, reach your other arm up, unless you can, in which case your hand can be on your hip. If you need balance support, get close to a wall that you can hold on. Find your breath, open up your chest, and we're going to kick into that foot a little bit. Stretch your quad, extend your crown forward, and move into dancer pose. So remember, this posture does not have to go tipping all the way into parallel to the floor. You do you. Be where you are. Okay, drop the shoulders, open the chest. See what it feels like to support with that standing leg. Is the knee soft? Is the hip in? Do you have ground? All right, and then relax and melt back down. Okay, so shake that out however you need to shake it out. And relax in Tadasana for a moment. Relax your belly. Feel your diaphragm open up. Bring your breath into your body. Bring your breath into your knees, soft knees, into your feet. And then we're going to root ourselves over to the other side. Pick up your right foot now. We're on our left foot. The hip hugs in. If you need balance support with a wall, be close to a piece of furniture or a wall. Reach the opposite arm up in the air or not. If your arm doesn't do that, you can keep your hand on your hip. Come forward wherever your body says go. Support with your glutes, your hamstrings, your hips, your core. Find all the support. Bend your knee just a little bit that you're standing on so that you have the ground. Yield into the ground and rise through your spine. Square the hips, ribs, and pelvis toward the front of your mat. Who cares how far you go? Go where you are. Soften your neck. Kick your foot. Keep your knee in line with your hip. Breathe. And then unwind and enjoy 2 feet on the ground. Drop in. You can bounce if you want. If that feels good, be still. If that feels good, rise up, open the chest. Lean back if it's nice. Exhale, bend your knees and float. Wag your tail, release your skull. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Step back. Maybe you come to a plank. Maybe you're like, I'm done with planks. In which case, put your knees down on the floor. Hold yourself steady. Drop weight into the index finger mounds. Hug your hands toward each other. And then everybody's coming down to the ground.
So you have a choice here. If you feel up to doing Dhanurasana, grab onto your feet. Try not to let your knees turn out to the sides. Keep them in line with the hips or just a teeny bit wider. Tailbone moves toward the knees, pubic bone up toward the belly button. If this is not happening, choose any back bend that you want, that you love. Inhale and rise up. Kick your feet back, open your chest. Keep your neck soft. Don't hang your head. Keep it neutral. Breathe here. Let your diaphragm move. Feel the back body. What part of you is not here? Bring it online. All right, and then relax and melt. Turn your head one way. You can support under your head if you want with your hands. Instead of turning your head, whatever feels good, windshield wiper your knees left and right. Relax your legs down. Bring your left knee high up toward your armpit. Okay, find that little bit of hip stretch here. Breathing well. Stay low in your torso. And we're going to turn this into a twist. Arm comes up overhead and spiral your body open. Let your knee leave the floor. Just go where you go. Try not to overdo the twist. See what's comfortable for your body. Find your breath. Where do you want to put your foot? Is your foot more comfortable on the floor, or would you rather slide your foot and put it on the whatever leg that is? I'm not sure if I'm doing the same side as you. So I think it would be your right leg, left foot on the right leg. And then relax, roll back. Okay. Bring the other knee up. So now our right knee is up toward right armpit. Extend through the spine. You can stay low. You don't have to go high into a back bend. Drop weight into the hip. Just enjoy some compression in that hip joint. If your body doesn't do this pose well for knee, ankle, or hip reasons, then just allow yourself to open up directly into the twist. Okay, so find now, spiral open. Do you want your right foot to rest on your left leg, or do you want to move it over a little bit more so it's on the floor? Where are you best served for your breath? Is your body safe? Is the twist comfortable? You don't want to go too deep. This is a fairly unsupported twist, so we want to make sure that we're not going too far. Open up through your chest. And now we're going to roll all the way onto our back. And you probably rolled right off your mat. So if you've got a space to do that, stay put. Otherwise, scoot yourself back onto your mat and bring your knees to your chest. Rock a little bit, swaying from side to side. And that nervous system ease. Bring yourself into your breath. All right, open up your knees and bring them back to midline. You get a choice here for reverse pigeon pose, right foot on left knee, or cross your right thigh over your left thigh and come into a hip stretch. All right, so whichever you're choosing, both are good. See what is available to you to relax your shoulders and melt your body. Can you melt your skull, your spine into the floor, no matter what you're choosing with your hips? Start to feel into the release, the surrender of your practice. If we learn the art of letting go, this is another way to set the table, to invite in what's here. Learning how to surrender. And that doesn't mean you have to give up. You know, there's a big difference between complacency and contentment. Okay, so just see what you can find here. And then open up your legs, starfish your body out. Take a breath, knees into the chest, head up. And then release your head down. Release your right foot down. Decide whether you're going to put your left foot on your right knee or
or you're gonna cross your thighs. So whichever choice you're making, we're gonna bring the right knee toward the chest. Okay, hold on wherever your body has a grip hold. So, you know, you can, wherever, back of the knees, the shins, the thighs, the top of the knees, whatever you can find that brings comfort and ease to your breath and shoulders. All right, unwind, starfish out your body one more time. And then just lay there for a moment before we hug in. Just let your body rest in a big open space. Make room. Let yourself feel open, available for anything to come. What's here? All right, bend your knees, feet on the ground. Bring your knees into your chest, rock a little bit. And then a simple twist to each side. Feet down, lift hips, move them to the right, bring knees up and drop them left. If you need a block under your knees or any support, you take it. Breathe into the twist, relax your shoulders, enjoy your spine. And lift your knees up. Scoot your hips over to the left. Knees come up and drop right. Open up your chest. Turn your head to the left if it's comfortable. And then inhale. Lift your knees back up in the air. Feet on the floor. And prepare yourself for Shavasana. How do you want to be? Do you want your limbs spread out really wide? Do you want your limbs closer in? Do you need support under your head or knees? Find your body's breath. Relax your belly. Melt your shoulders. Melt your skull.
All right, let's begin to deepen our breathing. See what it feels like to move just the littlest bits in the beginning. So perhaps rolling your wrists or moving your fingers, perhaps rolling your ankles or moving your toes, maybe turning your head from one side to the other. And then allowing the deeper breaths to come. Find a big full body movement. Maybe you're stretching your arms, your legs, and then knees into your chest. Find your way to your side. And come on up as you are ready. There's no rush. Find a comfortable seat when you're ready for it. And so let's be present. What's happening right now? Take another temperature reading, weather reading of the mind, the heart, and the body. How has your practice shifted you? What's here? Be present for what is and offer this presence outward to share with another who maybe struggles with not being able to stay present with what is. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Blessings on the day. Hope it's
Thank
be.
you, Jenny.
You're welcome. Thank